Hi there, everybody. Cindy Dayjack here with Queen Bee Creations. We are going to play with a little bit of resin here today. And I know that there has been tons of information coming out lately about people freaking out about people not wearing proper gear when they're dealing with this, which means, should you be wearing gloves? Yes. Should you be wearing PPE, meaning breathing apparatus, so you're not breathing in the fumes? Absolutely. When you see me not doing this, I don't tend to wear the gloves, I'm going to be honest, but when you see me not doing it, it's because you cannot hear me through the mask. And it is more of a pain for me to go back and do a voiceover. Know that in day-to-day usage, though, I'm doing the mask. So the exception is just for the video, and it seems like a lot of people did understand that, and I want that to be clear. So today we're going to do some resin casting because I want to use, I just did chocolates in this mold. Now I'm using resin, which means I will not be using this for chocolates anymore. All right. I'm not going to be using it in my kitchen. If I want to go back and use it in my kitchen, I need to buy another one. So no kitchen use after chemical use. That also makes sense to me, but apparently I got to be clear about everything. So I'm going to cast some of the new Bibelow's mold and some of the angels. I have some things I want to be trying with both of them. I'm mixing up a bunch of resin, So here's my two containers, two parts. I'm going to mix the two of them together. You don't need to see me stirring. And I have some, I want wings. Now, there is a wings mold. I haven't bought the wings mold. I haven't opened the wings mold. And quite honestly, for one project, I'm not gonna open the wings mold. So because I have this mold, and I think that these make awesome wings, so I'm gonna cast some of those and use them for wings. You'll see where I'm going afterward. But I also have like the old baubles mold. I have snowflake mold. I always have extra molds out so that when I've cast or I'm casting, if I have extra stuff, then I use it in the other pieces. The other thing that I'm doing, let me put my glasses on, is I am taking some wire. I am wrapping that wire around a dowel. See the little loop? Can you see the little loop? There you go. Now you can see the little loop. And I'm cutting that off. I am taking a pair of pliers right at the very tip. Okay, I don't want the fold over to be too deep. And I'm just pushing that against it. So now I have just that little bend, because what I'm doing with that is when I cast the resin for anything that I think I want to use on my Christmas tree, I am going to rest that in on the lip so those tiny little ends just sit in to my ornament. They're going to be permanently cast. What that means is that I avoid having to drill holes or glue ribbon onto it, all of which, you know, drilling holes, again, you don't want to breathe in the resin dust. This avoids the resin dust. It avoids that extra step. It's a kind of quick and easy way. So I just make up some of these, have them ready, super easy. This is dollar store wire. It doesn't have to be particularly great or strong. You can see it just bends easily with my fingers, right? Pinch it together, bend it over just a little bit. And I have a bunch of those ready to go so that when I do my ornaments, after I've cast them, don't try and hold them in place while you're casting. Just go ahead, cast your resin, and then just go and gently lay these in. And then you'll have built-in loops on all of your ornaments. And it just strikes me as so much easier. And I don't know why I see people futzing with all kinds of things and alternatives and drilling and gluing resin and things when you can just add the loop in before you go. It's dead easy. So what I am going to do, this is overnight slow drying resin, which dries really hard. I really like it. I enjoy that. I'm going to mix that up. I'm going to pour these, put my little tags in, the ones that I want as ornaments, let them dry, and then we'll come back to carry on with our project. This, just straightforward stuff. I'm just bringing you in on this one because these two molds up here, I haven't filled entirely because I want to add some sparkles to them. And so I'm just going to add, if I can get them out, I'm just going to add some sparkles. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Sparkles are jammed up in there. They were last used in alcohol ink class, so I think that maybe they're a little, there we go. So I just want to add some sparkles, maybe a little bit down at the end here, and then maybe a little silver. Oh, this one's not even open. Uh-oh, this could be dangerous now. Yep, sparkles everywhere. And then, whoops, just a little bit of red, I think. So I just want to try adding the sparkles in first, adding a bit more resin on top of them. And then we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, I've got a bunch of molds already poured, and I'm just going to, I'm going to swirl these a little bit, but I'm just going to let these set overnight. Now, here's the thing. You could use the quick drying stuff. I tend to just be doing a bunch of things at once, and I just find this is not the fastest way to go, but it's the least expensive way to go. So if you were doing a lot of castings, if you were doing a lot of these ornaments for sale and that sort of thing, then you're going to want to just be mixing up a bunch of resin, casting again, casting again, casting again. It's going to be a lot less costly for you. Okay, our molds have dried and the wires embedded. So these ones that I thought could make do as wings, I did put one long wire in them just in case I needed that to be able to use to attach. I don't know for certain, but the rest, those little loops at the top have worked perfectly. They were short enough that they didn't come through the front. They've embedded in. I now have hanging loops for all of those little ornaments. Now these were from the Baubles mold from last year, just because while I'm doing resin, I might as well be doing more. Some of them I didn't do with a hanging loop. I just had the extra resin, so I did them as little extra molds that I'll have left over. I did a couple of little leaves. So, you know, just if I'm mixing resin, I'm just doing a schmozzle of stuff. So obviously, you know, here our angels are all good. Here I have overrun, but this really works out pretty easy to just take scissors or even clips and cut out the little extra piece where I wasn't as neat in pouring things out. So I've got my angels off to the side. I need one of those for one of the projects I want to show. I just am experimenting today with ideas. So more I just want to show. So here's our sparkle ornament. Now it doesn't look great. I mean, it's very shiny from the back because this particular, the Bibelot mold is sort of a little bit of a rough texture. So it makes that go kind of a satin finish. But we're going to gloss that up and we're going to make that shine. So we're going to, I'm going to take these out the back to be able to, I'm just going to do a spray gloss on them, and I'll show you what that looks like because it's too stinky to do in here. Now, these two from the Be Below, what I want to do is two different treatments in the sense that I've taken from the Yuletide transfer, which is somewhere on this table, the Yuletide transfer from IOD. I've taken a couple of, I wasn't sure which one would fit better. I think you fit better. So this one, I've got a little fairy from that. And this one, what would fit on you? Maybe this little wreath. So here's what I'm going to do. This one, I am just going to, attach the wreath, and I need my little tool. I have a drawer full of them. So I'm just going to use the little tool and I'm going to rub that into the top. Now I'm doing this, get it to stick to the resin. I'll be taking this out to spray it with the others so that that spray will then seal my transfer over the top. Okay, so ultimately this will get sealed, but I'm just going to get it attached onto the front of my ornament. First. It's got little berries on the edges, so those take a little futzing just to see that I get all of this transferred over. There we go. And burnish it in. Now, it doesn't look like much, right? You can't see that very well. So it will pop more when we seal the front of it, but it will pop even more if we back it. So I'm going to take, I think it might look good with the green backing. Or maybe I want you with the green backing. Okay, I'm going to do her with the green backing. So what I want to do first and foremost is I just want to pencil out. So I know placement here. So I'm just going to trace around my pattern onto my sheet. So I have the tracing of that. And what I'm going to do is, way over here, I decided the last minute, I also have tinsel from IOD open. And this has got all kinds of little gold embellishments. It's got music and little writing and that kind of thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of the music and I'm just going to cut some out. I don't need it all. Scissors. Height-wise, where are we going? Out here. And just down. So this is in essence going to be the backing for my little fairy. So as much as this one is attached to the front, I'm going to attach this little fairy on the paper. And what I'm doing first is adding a little bit of this gold embellishment to the paper first. You know, it's Christmas. Bling it up a little. And it's okay if it goes over my design because I'm going to be cutting this out still. So I have my words going across all the gold, and then I'm going to lay her over top of the gold. Kind of angle her in. I just want to sort of center her a little. And then I'm going to do her over top. And the great thing about these transfers is you can layer them. So she's layered on top of that. And now what I'm going to do is glue. I'm going to cut this out and I'm going to decoupage it onto the back of my ornament, face out, right? So that I can see her lovely picture on there. And then that too will go outside to get a coating of my top coat on it. So we're doing two versions with our transfer in behind, right? Like her, and we're doing a version with the transfer on the front so that when we get those finished, we can see. We've got these ones where we embedded our sparkle on the inside. So we'll see those when they're done. Okay, so let me get those finished and then we'll come back and we'll take a look at how they look more than anything else. While we're waiting for our decoupage to dry, so we've got this drying and you can see that it doesn't look like much yet. We are also going to have molds everywhere. Okay. Just do more molds. So what I needed, oh, she's got an extra little piece here, overflow, just kind of bends away. I'm gonna use this angel taper, and I'm gonna use this set of scrolls. So, and I have a cardboard cone. You can make your cardboard cone. If you don't have one, you can buy these at craft stores. I just happen to have it. Don't even know where the heck I got it from. But I have casement from Fusion. You're going to see it's my go-to white because I have a ton of it. And I am going to just simply, where's a half decent brush over here. Everything's probably over on my drying rack. There we go. I'm gonna get everything coated with casement. And I'm likely, especially on this cone, I'm likely gonna need 2 coats on things just to kind of even them out. But I'm gonna get these done and drying also because this is going to need some assembly. I'm still waiting for the angel pieces to dry because I had to do 2 coats both sides. So it's taking longer, but this is done. So what I am going to do, because I want to highlight the details on the angel in gold, so we'll get to that. What I want to do is make sure that this kind of ties in. So to do that, I'm going to take some gilding wax. This happens to be Annie Sloan. I would normally use the DIY gold wax, but it's a little softer and I'm going a little brassier on this. So I have a stencil brush. I'm just dipping in to get a little bit, and I'm going to, this is a curved surface, so it's a little more challenging, but I'm just going to kind of stencil the wax in. So I'm not doing the whole pattern on everything because it's not going to meet up or match anyway. So instead, I'm just going to do it in spots. And I don't know that this is looking particularly gold, major gold. Will look when I don't want it in your face, but I just want it patterned. Oh, that works for me. So I'm going to kind of do this around the base and kind of get some of this happening. And I just want to vary kind of the patterning of it. And then I'll let this dry off while I wait for the angels and the wings to finally be dry. And then we can start adding some of this to those to highlight the details. And then it's got to get assembled. So, you know, it is what it is. Now that my angel and her wings are dry, all I'm going to do is take that same gilding wax. So in this case, I'm using Annie Sloan, and I'm just going to use my finger and I'm going to brush it lightly over the tops of all of those details. I want to highlight, because these molds have fabulous details on them, and I just want to lightly highlight them. It was because I anticipated doing this that I wanted to add some of the gold onto the cone. And I didn't do a lot, just along the bottom, because we're going to be adding this detail to it, and that's going to bring some of that out. But you can see that we start bringing out all those details. I'll do that to that entire taper and to the wings. So you can go as heavy or as light as you want on this, obviously. And you could use gilding wax in whatever color makes sense to you. So there's silver, there's brass, there's bronze, copper. Some companies I think even have like some of the lusters, but you could use like a luster dust and add that into a wax and create your own if you were going for a different color. You know, maybe you wanted blues and silvers as part of your Christmas decor, or, you know, purples or something. The true final step in this is to attach my pieces. Now, what I did do is I made sure that I poked a bit of a hole down into the top of my cone. I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue down on there. And on the next one, I want to get the wings in first. I think that would make my life easier. That's a little bit of a blob. Uh-oh. I think that other one's already started to firm up and take up my whole space. There we go. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna kind of grab these ones with a little bit of glue in the front because she's going to cover that. And I'm going to hold them out just a little bit so that they stay in place. And now I'm going to glue her in place, but I have to decide how much glue I need for her. And then I definitely need to lift it up because I need to support those wings. So I can now kind of twist them out of the way a little bit and glue, provide some extra glue where she is holding. And then that's our angel. Let's take a look at our finished ornaments. This sparkle one, so you remember that they all came out looking dull, and I left this one dull so that I could show you once they were top coated, just those little sparkle ones with a little bit of acrylic gold paint pen on the top. And that's a cute little ornament. And it's still sparkly on the back. When we, whoops, throwing the ornaments around. I also did just a little silver one with, so fully silver in the old snowflake pattern as well, just because sometimes you just need a little bit of silver bling and that gives you an option. We then did one where we put the transfer on the front and then we backed it with paper. So it's just white in the back, which is fine. And here we just did a light little kind of blue toned snowflake pattern. This one we did with, and again, this one I just painted the silver acrylic paint on the top. This one I did some little bands in the gold. We had done the tinsel transfer over the paper, which was a pale green. And then we did the little fairy from the Yuletide transfer. So that's all in behind, nothing on front, just covered. And then I had done an extra one, the same, so that transfers also in behind. Okay, so it gives you an idea. I had done a little leaf, and just to play, because, you know, while I'm out here doing stuff, this I just spritzed with alcohol, dumped a bunch of alcohol inks on it, hung it up, let it dry, and sprayed it. So just if you were looking for, you know, something even different, but something that was a little bit more translucent than painting solidly with acrylic paint or something. Don't overlook alcohol ink. I think that this was really nice. It had a bunch of different colors and I just dumped them all over. But you could take a paintbrush and you could paint over the ornaments as well. So those are all different options with your new molds. And then finally we had our angels. So the tapers themselves, certainly we could have made into ornaments. We could have hung that same little wire at the top of her head, had her as a great big long icicle ornament, but I just wanted to play with the versatility of them a little bit. I've already played with them with chocolate, which hopefully you caught, but maybe I'll drop the link in for those that missed it. So first making her with chocolate, now I'm playing with resin, which means I can't go back to chocolate with it. But also kind of a fun, cute idea. I know that they all have wings, but I really don't mind having the little baby wings and then the big wings in behind. And I could see having a whole little vignette with a number of these angels staggered on different pedestals and things. Just, you know, in amongst gold, glitzy little baubles and some greenery. I think that would be super cute. Let me know if you have any questions or thoughts, comments, ideas. As always, love to hear from you. Just trying to give you a couple more ideas, things to play with some of the molds from the new IOD release. Certainly works with any of your older molds too. You know, same concept. I think that there's like cherubs and things that you could use, and you could get the same kind of idea with it, and using some of the furniture molds for the taper the body. So don't ever think that you're restricted to just one or the other in terms of looks. But I wanted to definitely experiment and show you the difference between applying the transfer behind the ornament and applying the transfer in front of the ornament. Two very different looks, but both equally lovely, I think. So let me know which one's your favorite. Looking forward to seeing you on the next one. And until then, take care.